My son, I've been thinking about fire, not the destructive kind that rages and consumes everything in its path. I've been thinking about the fire inside a man, the one that gets him out of bed in the morning when his body aches for rest, the one that pushes him to build, to provide, to protect, the one that burns in your chest right now. I see it. Even from a distance, I see it. I see the way you carry your shoulders, a little tighter than they were a year ago. I see the faint lines around your eyes that weren't there before, etched not by age, but by focus, a relentless, piercing focus. I see you moving, always moving, answering that email late at night, taking that extra project, saying yes when every part of you wants to scream no. You're running on a fuel made of sheer will, my boy. And while there is nothing more admirable, there is also nothing more dangerous. We live in a world that worships the inferno. It celebrates the blaze. It tells you that to be successful, to be a man of worth, your fire must never dim. It must scorch the earth, be seen from miles away. The hustle, the grind, the relentless pursuit of more. It's a powerful drug, isn't it? The world tells you that sleep is for the weak, that rest is a luxury you haven't earned yet, and so you burn. You burn yourself at both ends, hoping to create a light bright enough to justify the sacrifice. You tell yourself it's temporary, a season of struggle before the long peace, but the seasons keep changing, and the struggle remains. Sound familiar? I know it does. Because I was you. For a decade of my life, I believed my value was measured in exhaustion. I wore burnout like a badge of honor. I'd come home long after your mother had put you to bed, and the silence of the house felt like a judgment. I'd eat a cold dinner standing over the sink, my mind already racing about the next day's battles. I was a ghost in my own home, a machine built for production. My fire was a spectacle, bright, hot, impressive to anyone looking from the outside. But it was consuming the very wood it was meant to warm. It was all flame and no heat, all fury and no light. And then one day, the machine just stopped. I was in my old workshop, trying to fix a broken cabinet door, a simple task. But my hands were shaking from too much coffee and too little sleep. My mind, a frantic hive of worries and deadlines, couldn't focus. I remember dropping a screwdriver, and the simple clatter of it hitting the concrete floor sounded like a gunshot in the silence, and I just sat down, right there on the dusty floor, surrounded by half-finished projects and the smell of sawdust, and I didn't move. I couldn't. The fire hadn't just dimmed, it had gone out. All that was left was a pile of cold grey ash and a hollowness I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy. It was the most terrifying moment of my life. I thought, this is it. I've failed. I've burned out completely. I'm empty. But I was wrong. I wasn't empty. I was resting. It took me a long time to understand that. In the quiet that followed, in the forced stillness, something became clear to me. Something our frantic world never tells you. Son, even fires rest before they burn brighter. Think of a great bonfire. At the end of the night, the towering flames die down. The spectacle is over, but if you look closely, deep in the heart of the woodpile, you'll see the embers. They glow with a quiet, intense heat. They are not gone. They are consolidating their energy. They are in a state of potential. The wood settles, the ash insulates, and the core preserves its power. All it needs is a little oxygen, a little time, and it can roar back to life. stronger and hotter than before. That's what rest is. It is not an absence of fire. It is the glowing of the embers. We have been taught to fear this stage, to see it as failure. But it is the most critical part of the process. A blacksmith forges a sword in fire. He heats it, hammers it, shapes it with violence and intent. But the thing that makes the steel strong, the thing that keeps it from shattering under pressure, is the quench. He plunges that red-hot blade into the water. A sudden, shocking rest. The molecules of the steel lock into a new, stronger alignment. The rest is what gives it its integrity. Your work, your ambition, your drive. That is the hammer and the flame. But your rest, your stillness, that is the quench. It is what makes you resilient. It's what turns raw, brittle iron into tempered steel. Without it, you will eventually shatter. This rest I'm talking about isn't just about sleep, though God knows you probably need more of it. It's about a deeper stillness. It's the fallow field. A farmer doesn't plant the same crop in the same soil year after year after year. He would deplete it, ruin it. He knows that for a season, he must let the field lie fallow. Let it rest. To an outsider, it looks unproductive, a waste of good land. But the farmer knows the truth. Under the surface, the soil is replenishing its nutrients. Microbes are at work. The earth is healing, preparing for a more abundant harvest next year. Are you letting your soil rest? Or are you demanding a harvest every single day, wondering why your crops are growing thinner, weaker? It's the silence between the notes that makes the music. It's the deep, unseen work of the roots that allows the tree to withstand the storm. All of nature understands this rhythm. The tide pulls back before it crashes on the shore. The bear hibernates to survive the winter. The very planet we live on tilts away from the sun, creating night, so the world can cool and recover. Why do we as men believe we are the one exception to this universal law? You might be thinking, I don't have time to rest. I have people depending on me. I have goals. I know. The weight of that responsibility is immense. It feels like if you stop rowing, the boat will be swept away by the current. But what if you're just rowing in circles? What if the frantic, desperate strokes are taking you nowhere, only draining the strength you'll need for when the current truly gets rough? Resting isn't stepping out of the boat. It's pulling the oars in for a moment to check your compass, to look at the stars, to feel the direction of the wind. It is in that quiet space that clarity is born. The big idea you've been chasing, the solution to the problem that's been plaguing you, it rarely appears while you're hammering away at it. It whispers to you when you're on a long walk, when you're staring into a campfire, when you're truly disconnected from the noise, when your embers are glowing. So, how do you do it? In a world that never stops, how do you find the stillness? It starts small. It's a deliberate choice. It's leaving your phone in another room for an entire evening. It's going for a drive with no destination, listening to music that fed your soul when you were younger. It's sitting in a park and just watching. No podcast, no audiobook, no purpose other than to exist for a few moments. It's picking up an old hobby you let die because it wasn't productive. It's calling a friend you haven't spoken to in years just to hear their voice. It is, in essence, giving yourself permission to be a human being, not a human doing. This is not a sign of weakness, my son. It is the ultimate sign of strength. It takes more courage to be still than it does to be busy. It takes more discipline to rest than it does to grind. Anyone can burn themselves out. It's easy. It's the path of least resistance. But it takes a wise man to know when to let the fire die down to embers, to trust that the heat is still there, deep within. The fire that returns after a period of rest is different. It's not the frantic, desperate blaze of a man running on fumes. It's a controlled burn. It's intentional. It burns hotter, but with less smoke. It provides more warmth, more light, because it's drawing from a deeper, well-tended source of fuel. You come back not just rested, but renewed, with a clearer sense of why you were burning in the first place. So, if you hear nothing else I say, hear this. Look at your hands. Feel the tension in your jaw. Acknowledge the weariness in your soul. Don't push it away. Don't numb it. Honor it. It is a signal. Your body and your spirit are telling you it's time. It's time to let the great flames settle. It's time to tend to the embers. It's time to let the field go fallow. It's time to quench the steel. Find your silence. Find your stillness, even if it's just for an hour. Trust that the fire will not go out. It is the core of who you are. It will be there when you return. And when you do, you will burn brighter than ever before. Not for the world, not for the applause, but for the steady, enduring, and powerful light that you were always meant to be. Take care of your fire, my son. It's the only one you've got. This is Steelfast Father, what every son deserves to hear. If this reached you, subscribe and pass it on. Keep the momentum with us.